fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The smell of dusty parchment and dried ink clung to the air like a lover's ghost, and the weight of 1,000 unread prophecies pressed against my spine as I climbed the library ladder. My fingers trailed over cracked leather spines, each book a tombstone for some long-dead seer's delusions. Prophecies were not truth, they were riddles spun by fools and feared by the desperate. The kingdom will shatter beneath the storm unless the crown bows to the thorn. The stupid rhyme had been haunting the court for weeks. King Varian's advisors had already wasted 3 moon cycles debating it, sending riders to scour the continent for mythical thorns, sacrificing goats to petty gods, and worst of all, disturbing me. I was the royal archivist, not a soothsayer, yet here I was, halfway up a ladder in the dead of night because the Stormbringer himself had ordered my insight. The library doors slammed open. I didn't turn. I knew the cadence of those boots, heavy, deliberate, the stride of a man who thought the world would part for him like a chastened lover. General Cale Stormbringer, the king's favorite weapon, with a jaw sharp enough to cut glass and eyes like lightning trapped in wrought iron. He'd been haunting the library since the prophecy surfaced, his presence a storm cloud threatening to drown my quiet world. Alara. His voice rasped against the back of my neck, low and insistent. I plucked a tome from the shelf and pretended to read. The king demands an answer, he said. Then tell him the answer is nothing. I snapped the book shut. No bows, no thorns, no frantic rituals. Prophecies thrive on fear. Starve this one and it dies. The ladder trembled as his hand closed around its edge. I finally looked down. Mistake. Cale stood close enough that I could see the scar cutting through his left brow, the shadow of stubble along his throat, the way his armor clung to shoulders broad enough to carry the weight of a war. His gaze flickered over me, lingering on the ink smudged on my fingers, the unruly braid slipping over my shoulder. You'd have us sit idle while the realm crumbles. I'd have you think. I descended the ladder, but he didn't step back. His heat seeped into the cold air between us, and the scent of him, steel and pine and something smoky, twisted in my lungs. The more you chase this prophecy, the more power you give it. Let it go. Do nothing. He leaned in, his breath grazing my ear. And if the storm comes anyway, I swallowed, then we'll face it, not because a dead seer's rhyme told us to, but because it's what needs doing. For a heartbeat, his mask slipped. I saw it, the flicker of doubt, the weariness beneath his duty. And it vanished, and he straightened, all icy command again. You'll attend court tomorrow. Explain this theory to the king, or what? I challenged. His lips quirked. Or I'll drag you there, and I don't think you'd enjoy my methods. The court laughed at me. Whispers slithered through the throne room like serpents. Crazy librarian, blasphemer, she'll get us all killed. But Cale stood silent at the king's side, his arms crossed, his gaze a brand against my skin. You suggest we ignore divine warning, the king's voice boomed. I suggest you stop feeding the beast. I clenched my fists, my nails biting into my palms. Every prophecy is a trap. The more you struggle, the tighter it grips. Cale's brow furrowed. That night he found me in the library again. This time I was sprawled on the floor, maps and star charts strewn around me like fallen leaves. He knelt beside me, his armor shed, wearing only a black tunic that clung to his chest like shadow. Show me, he said, and so I did. I showed him the archives of failed prophecies, the kingdoms that had bled themselves dry chasing rhymes, the way every storm in history had been a metaphor, not a disaster. His calloused fingers traced the ancient texts, his shoulder brushing mine, and when I spoke he listened. Days bled into weeks. We worked in the amber glow of lanterns, our arguments softening into debates, then into something dangerously like trust. One night a storm raged outside, and when thunder shook the library I flinched. Cale's hand settled on my wrist, his thumb stroking the flutter of my pulse. You're afraid of storms, he murmured. I'm afraid of stupidity, I retorted, but my voice trembled. He smiled, a real one this time, slow and devastating. Liar. The storm came at dawn. Black clouds swallowed the sky, and the earth trembled as if the gods themselves were furious. The king screamed for Cale to act, to do something, but Cale turned to me, his eyes wild. Alara, wait. I gripped his arm. Wait. The court fled, the storm raged, and we stood in the eye of it, Cale's body shielding mine, his heart pounding against my cheek. The prophecy had said the kingdom would shatter unless the crown bowed to the thorn, but we hadn't bowed, we hadn't acted, and then the clouds ripped apart. Sunlight speared through, golden and triumphant, and the storm dissolved into rainbows. The kingdom still stood, the prophecy had been a test. Cale's forehead pressed against mine, his breath ragged. You were right, I usually am. My lips brushed his jaw, the touch accidental but electric. He froze. Then his hand slid into my hair, tilting my face up. This changes things. Before he could kiss me, a horn blared. Riders approached, their banners unfamiliar, their armor gleaming with strange sigils. A voice cried out, the Thorn Kingdom demands its due. Cale's grip tightened. Alara, what did we miss?